Man, it's cold here. Welcome everyone to the Arctic Circuit. I'm Dan Orboole, here with Drew Discman, and it's time to dig into this race.
Wow, Dan, I thought I was prepared, but the wind up here just cuts through you like a knife. But hey, nothing warms the heart like marble racing, am I right?
That's for sure. Why don't you start off by telling us what came of the qualifiers to begin with?
Well, after weeks and weeks of coming oh so close, the Green Ducks finally earned themselves a pole position out of the qualifiers, doing so in dramatic fashion with a last lap comeback in the Q3 heats. This marks their 6th consecutive top 4 finish in the qualifiers. Some other noteworthy stories include those who failed to qualify. You've got the Savage Speeders, defending champions, continuing their mostly dismal sophomore season. The Minty Maniacs bottoming out yet again with a lap time a full second behind the nearest competitor. The Bumblebees, a team that's been in contention since the start of the season, they'll really feel the effects of failing to qualify here. And then good ol' skip of the Jungle Jumpers. Jungle Jumpers, more like Jungle Fumblers. I guess it's the basement for you for another week.
So what did we see from the course out of the qualifiers, you may ask? Well, firstly, there's the course's defining feature, the Ice Bridge. Definitely a place where we expect to see some dramatic passes approaching the finish line. We saw a nail-biter finish in Q2 because of this patch with Red Eye and Wispy, with a place in Q3 on the line. The ability to block opponents would be crucial in the late stretches here. See how Billy used that to his advantage in the last lap here. But the surprising standout was the rather innocuous-looking Turn 7. The course leading up to this turn tilts you hard to the right, so it was common to see many teams in qualifying bash hard into the wall instead of rounding the corner gracefully. Watch here how Billy loses first to that turn in lap 1 of Q3, only to steal it right back in lap 2.
So, on to race day. Billy of the Green Ducks launched ahead initially, imbued with their confidence from the qualifiers. Smoggy took first place away just as quickly as Billy had taken it. A pretty typical opener for the Ducks. Qualify well, take the lead early, then run out of gas. Both were then overtaken by O-Rangers Clementon and Raspberry Racers Ruzzy. Red Eye lagged behind in the middle, much to the dismay of Crazy Cat's Eyes fans, as many had projected Billy and Red Eye to be the top 2 marbles of today's Prix. The majority of the race saw a tense tug-of-war between Ruzzy, Clementon, and Smoggy. Billy, narrowly behind the pack, finally bucked the team's trend and managed to break back in to the top 3. They'd maintained their stance in the top 3 for the rest of the race. Billy took advantage of the tumultuous Turn 7 to take the lead and push ahead of Ruzzy and Smoggy in lap 10. From there, Billy's lead grew tremendously, and eventually, it was a foregone conclusion that the Green Ducks would take the gold this race in addition to their pole position, at long last earning themselves a win. What did I tell you, Dan? The Green Ducks pulled through.
Quack quack, Mother Duckers! Billy finally gets a win for the Green Ducks. But in all seriousness, putting on my impartial commentator's hat, this was huge for them. It's the team's first win of the year and really puts them as the definitive challenger for the Crazy Cat's Eyes right now. Clementon scooped up second place, the team's first medal of the season. With that medal, the Rangers move up 8 positions in the standings, finally distancing themselves from the cloud of disappointment at the bottom. And it was the Raspberry Racers finally making an impact to round out the podium. Ruzzy moved up 11 positions over their qualifying position in the race today, and it was the first real sign of life we've seen from the team since basically the 2019 Marble League. Mimo uncharacteristically took last place, a finish that will seriously hurt the team's attempts to keep up with the Green Ducks in the standings. The host Snowballs didn't turn any heads, but also didn't open themselves up to ridicule with a 12th place finish. Honestly, most Snowballs fans are really just happy to be here, so I'm sure they'll take it.
Let's talk about the course now. Turn 7 was bananas. I mean, you could look at nearly any lap and see how Turn 7 changed the course of who held the lead spot. In the end, it was all about how quickly you can regain your speed after coming to a complete stop and take advantage of others' slowdown as well. Just take a look at lap 6, where Ruzzy stole second from Clementon, who stopped short in their tracks and weren't fast enough to react. There's no doubt that this was an exceptional course for passes, not just one definitive turn like most of the other courses so far. We saw some overtakes through the split as marbles with momentum could jump the barricade to land in front of an opponent. We saw numerous passes on the ice bridge, which acted as a slippery speed ramp by itself, and closed gaps between positions as well. You couldn't even take the conveyor belt for granted. Watch Clementon just get decimated by the starting gate here in lap 8. Nevertheless, much to their chagrin, Clementon came back and finished very strong.
So at the end of the day, the Crazy Cat's Eyes are still on top by a decent margin, but that margin has started to shrink. The Green Ducks are starting to apply some pressure. But with half the season still to go, there really are a number of teams still that could make a run for it if the Crazy Cat's Eyes let their guard down. This is really still their season to lose.
After 6 locations in 6 weeks, I think it's time for us to finally take a bit of a break.
No time for that. We've got Marbula E in New York on Monday.
No rest for the weary, eh, Dan?
Time for us to roll out, Drew. We've got an early flight in the morning.
Better set my alarm. We'll see you all again real soon.
Take care, everyone.
Hey, thanks for watching. Maybe check out some of our other series on the channel, or subscribe to the Marble Report to make sure you're always up to date with the latest and greatest in Marble news. We'll see you at the next one.